So for this project, this is what you need. Tape runner, a ruler, a pencil, your custom cutting red and green blades, custom cutting system from Creative Memories, your middle-sized oval from the custom cutting system, and the smaller oval from custom cutting system, as well as a pair of fine point scissors. You will need a scoring tool, or in this case I'm using a scoring blade from Creative Memories, which fits into my 12-inch trimmer. So you need a 12-inch trimmer as well for your paper. And finally you need cardstock. A pastel color is great for this project. I used a pastel cloud blue for mine from Creative Memories. And you need a self-healing mat on which to do your cutting. So this mat is a 13-inch mat from Creative Memories, and it's really great because it has markings all around it for inches as well as diagonals. So the first thing we're going to do is take your cardstock and we're going to cut it at 6 inches. Open my arm. And this is really a terrific tool, as it also has lots of markings and guidelines for you to make sure that you're going straight. And the blade is really easy to take in and out and exchange with other types of blades that Creative Memories offers. So I'm going to cut this 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock into 2 6-inch pieces. Put one aside. And take your pencil and your ruler and your middle size custom cutting oval, and we're going to place the oval about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom and 1/4 inch in from the side. So just to be precise, if you'd like your eggs to all line up perfectly, you want to check and make sure that you're 1/4 of an inch in and 1/8 of an inch up. You could also use your mat for this because there are guidelines on here that you could use as well. So center your oval between those 2 dots, and using your ruler you're going to measure down from the top of the paper to the 2-inch mark and place a dot on the right hand side. Then move down to 4 inches and place a dot there. Just use a light mark because you don't want that to show later. You can erase your marks afterwards. Now moving your oval over, same thing. Make sure they're touching, almost touching the dots, but not overlapping the dots, because this is going to be a straight area of uncut paper. So again, I want to make sure I'm 1/8 of an inch from the bottom, and I'm going to measure down 2 inches from the top of the paper and 4 inches. One more time, actually 2 more times. I'm going to do this. Lay your oval down close to the dots. Make sure you're 1/8 of an inch up and then it's centered, and then measure down to the 2-inch mark and then the 4-inch and place a dot. So we are ready to cut now. Now that we have all of our 2 and our 4-inch marks. So you're going to use your red blade, and the red blade has 2 little prongs on the bottom that are going to fit into the outside groove. So I like to make sure that my prongs are in the outside groove. And we're going to place it back on the original first spot between the dots, the little tiny little marks that you made there and near the dots. Now this area is not going to be cut at all. So between the dots is going to remain uncut, which means I'm going to start on the dot, making sure my prongs are in there, and I'm going to run it all the way around to the next dot. And stopping on the dot, just like that. Now we're going to repeat with the next one. Again, I'm not cutting through the dots, so I'm going to start on the dot here and leave a straight space here, because that's where the fold of the card is going to be. Stopping at the dot, so I'm only doing an arc. Picking it up, moving to the next dot, and running it up to this dot. So again, we have uncut area, uncut area. If you make a mistake, don't worry. You could always apply a piece of tape, invisible tape, but it doesn't look as nice, but you can do that. Again, I'm going to start on the dots. I'll check and make sure I'm 1/8 of an inch up too, because that does matter. And move it just a little bit closer. And now I'm going to do 2 arcs. Oops, top arc. Make sure your prongs are in there so you get a clean cut. So the top arc to the dot, pick it up, move it to the next area, and stop at the dot. Now for this one, I got a little mistake there, but I can fix it with my scissors. This one is going to be just hanging off the edge here. This part will be taped using a tape runner adhesive. Oops, and I got a little ragged there too. So using your little scissors, clean up any little areas or places you need to snip apart. Now we're going to repeat this on the next 6 by 12 piece of cardstock. And this time you're going to stop at the 3rd circle. Now you may want to erase your dots with a good eraser that doesn't go all over the page. So you have now you have 2 pieces, one like this and one like this. Okay, so these 2 are going to be joined, but before we do that, we want to score their lines. So I'm going to take out my straight blade and put in my scoring tool, and I'm going to score them right down the middle between each egg. And this tool, this trimmer from Creative Memories, has this wonderful guide with a dark line, a black line right down the middle, so I can see if I'm going to be in the center. So I'm scoring that. I'm going to score all of these, making sure I'm centered. And then this little tail, which is actually going to be the part that attaches to the main body. Okay, same thing with this one. Okay, Now before I put these together and fold them accordion style, I do want to cut the bottoms off just about 1/4 inch so that the card will stand up. So I'm going to actually line these up together. And then place it inside the trimmer. And it ends up being right at the 5.5 mark. So your eggs are 5.5 inches high. So that's the line you want to meet up to. Whoops, forgot to take out my scoring blade. So no, you don't need to score that. You need to cut it. Just enough so that it will stand up. All right, we're ready to attach it. And we're going to glue it right here with the tape runner. So I'm using Creative Memories repositionable in case you make a mistake, but you could use another. And you're going to match that up right on top, making sure that the bottom is even. I'm going to move that over because I want this score line to be able to fold. Now we're ready to fold it accordion style. So that's forward, back, forward, back, forward. And you can always take, if you don't like the bottom, if it's not even in the way that you like, you can always trim that off and make that straighter. So I'm going to do that just so that it's more uniform. All right, so we're ready to decorate. You're going to take your small circle now, and a piece of double-sided paper is great that has a pattern on both sides. Is really nice because it gives you more of a variety in terms of the way that you decide you're going to lay your eggs out. So you're going to be using the green blade in the outside groove to create a little egg that is smaller than your card. And that's so that the outside, that the blue can show through on the outside and kind of frame the eggs. You could cover completely if you used the larger size, if you want to cover the eggs completely, but I think it looks kind of nice with the little blue showing through around the edge. Gives it even more color. So I'm going to cut a number of these circles. Again, we're using the small custom cutting oval with the green blade on the outside. And that will give us a circle that's just the right size to cover this page. But before I do that, I want to take all of my circles, which I have, a variety of different, this is a great way to use scraps. If you have them, you know, it's just enough. Some of them have two-sided, some are not. But what I've done with them is taken them and cut them in thirds so that I can piece together some unusual eggs like this. And I did that on my custom cutting tool. They're all the same size, so you should be able to make little puzzle pieces of them. So let's just do that with a couple of these. So I'm going to put 2 in at a time because they are exactly the same size. Make sure that they're straight. If you're using a pattern like this one that has direction and lines on it, make sure that you're cutting right on the line. So you want that to be right up straight. And again, on this tool, you can use the guideline. There's another guideline in the back here that's also useful. And I'm going to cut on that green line right there. So I'm just making sure I've got it lined up. And then I'm going to move it down and cut in the middle. And again, I want to make sure it's straight because this does have a pattern. And now I've got some pieces to play with. So I'm going to use a checkered middle and a polka dot top on that one to make some really cute eggs. Eggs, like I've done here or here. So now all you need to do is, using your tape runner, is apply the pieces to your mini album or your card, if you decide you want it to be a card. Letting a little bit of the blue show through. And you can add ribbons and buttons. Just trying out different patterns here. And you can use a ribbon to close the mini album if you decide that you do want to put photos on some of the eggs, or it can simply be a decoration. So I'll show you again what I've done here. So I have these eggs that were combinations of smaller eggs that were cut into thirds and then repieced together. And this side is blank, so I have yet to embellish that, but I'm going to put photos on the back of that. This also makes a really cute card if you want to do just 3 circles, 3 ovals together. You could make 2 cards out of a 12 by 12 piece, and you would have 3, and you could put Happy Easter or Happy Easter or some other kind of message in there. So have fun with it. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. See you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe to our channel.